Aries, a very warm welcome. My name's Drew. This is Modern Tarot. Those of you that are new here, welcome. And those of you returning, as always, welcome back. So Aries, this is December 2025, okay? Last month of the year, guys. I hope you're doing well. I know some of you have had a rough period, Aries. It's been a year of learning, a year of letting go, a year of taking on new things, opening up, broadening your horizons away from the madding crowd. So I hope it's all going well. Let's see what December brings. Remember, this is a general reading, guys. All right, take what fits, leave the rest behind. Let it filter or percolate like a coffee. Okay, so Aries, let's have a look. One more shuffle, and I'm going to go straight into this. Okay, yeah, that is done. Okay, Aries, brilliant. Okay, so coming into December 2025, all right, as we approach the new year, it's all about letting go of anxiety. So, not too much forward thinking for you, Aries. It's about living in the moment, accepting what is around you, as opposed to coulda, woulda, shouldas, and all these kind of things. Coming out of your head, freeing yourself from forward thinking, which is based on, sometimes past shitty experiences, Aries. So you're going to feel a sense of lightness. You'll be getting better sleep for sure. But coming out of your head, all right? No anxiety for you. Great. All right, center of the reading, okay? We've got the Two of Swords. So what this actually says as a center of a reading for me, this is you haven't really made up your mind. So plans, what am I going to do next year and all these kind of things, all right? You're not in the decision-making process. You might have a few options, but you're not really sure of which one to take. So some of you might just let time slip by and wait for some kind of like divine inspiration, divine intervention, okay? And, when I see this, it's kind of blockage, okay, but it's not filled with anxiety. Does that make sense? So it's like surrendering to it is what it is. And always be very wary of people that say it is what it is. It means that they accept the good and bad in life, okay? So you won't be making major decisions. You'll be waiting for some kind of divine inspiration, okay? The challenge that you're going to have, all right, Aries, this is a card of either holding on or holding back. It's some of you, it might be a challenge. You're not really decisive. It's a challenge to hold back from making the decision when you're not ready to. So let's say if it's in the dating scene, and someone's full on love bombing you, and you're in a position of the Two of Swords, where you go, you know what, I'm not really sure. I don't want to make any decisions about this. And so after all the hard work that you've done, Aries, sometimes it's still a challenge because you want to give, right? You're loving people and you want to give to situations, people, places, and things. And so it might be a challenge for you to hold back. Okay. The reasons why it's all happened, Magician in reverse. All right. Some of you might have two options around you. Okay. People, places, and things. All right. Could be two opportunities in work. But the Two of Swords is like in two minds, but I'm not sure which way I'm going just yet. All right. It can be a card of cognitive dissonance. In a mild form. But the reason why it's all happening, some of you aren't happy with what you've manifested, or some of you are definitely holding back from these kind of characters, magicians in reverse, okay? So, the magician in the upright in traditional tarot, it talks about, I've got all the skills and tools in my box to manifest abundance. The magician in reverse, if it's a character in your life, Aries, this is someone that does have all the tools in their box, but they use it in kind of like malicious ways or not so honest ways. So the magician in reverse, okay? And I think it really is about you're not in a rush to make any decisions, waiting for the divine inspiration. If the passion's not there, you're not feeling that passion, you're not going to make a decision. You are going to hold back, even though it's going against how you normally behave, right? Is this making sense? All right, coming into this reading, Aries, okay, recent past, we've got the moon in reverse, getting clear, coming out of illusions, coming out of confusion, the moon in reverse, secrets coming to light, aha moments, all these kind of things, okay? I'm going to clarify, so stick around, guys. Your focus, look at this, Aries is great, the world. Some of you might be thinking about travel with the world, literally. Others of you, this is all about, the snake shedding its skin. It's like endings, brand new beginnings. This is your focus. Know where I've been, what's next. Can't really make a decision just yet. Maybe not enough information is on the table about some kind of decision that you need to possibly make. Um, you don't feel anxiously stuck. You feel it's time to, I need to hold back on making major decisions here. I know I'm on the precipice of major change with the world. Okay. So you can feel it coming, Aries. Okay. What you don't see coming towards you, Page of Cups in reverse. Some of you, you might be holding, just for a select few, it's not a personal reading, remember guys, some of you might be holding back, and it's a bit of a challenge to do so, but you might have some secrets have come to light, or you got some clarity on someone that was, the magician in reverse. All right, they're all you see is not what you get. Does that make sense? Instead of what you see is what you get. You're kind of like, if I'm in a Two of Swords energy with a character like this is my intuition, my solar plexus having a second heartbeat warning me something's kind of off. Even though, me as a person, I like to go for things. I have to hold back, but I know I'm on a precipice of change. Okay. And so what you don't see coming towards you is we got the Page of Cups in reverse. All right. So it's a lack of apology. This is, let's say we've just been starting dating someone or seeing someone, we're using our intuition, we're getting very clear, maybe this person isn't all what they seem, and so the Page of Cups, this could be just for a select few guys, a relatively new connection that you kind of like might just let it go. Okay. Your energetic field, Justice, Aries, all about fairness. This is your energy. It's the major arcana of the Six of Pentacles, if you like, give and take, reciprocity, what is fair. So your energetic field, as you go through December, people might find you unapologetically you, but in fairness, Aries. All right? Outside influences, Five of Swords in reverse. All right, no time for fighting, Aries. No time for drama. No time to getting involved with malicious gossip or anything like that with Five of Swords energy. Five of Swords in the upright talks about, it's conflict. Okay, so you're coming into 2026, all right? We're tailing off of 2025 now, coming out of internal conflicts, letting go of anxiety, being unapologetically you, because you stand in fairness. My needs and my wants are to be recognized, to be honored, because I can do that to somebody else. And so it's reciprocity, okay? Major arcana, justice is your energy. But yeah, no time for fighting and okay, in your fears, we've got the Five of Wands in reverse. So in your fears, sometimes Aries, because you are action takers, you're very logical. You are the walking Google of the zodiac. That's what I always call you guys, because if you want to know an answer to something, when we're talking about intellect, the mind, research, these kind of things, ask an Aries. If they don't know the answer, they'll find it. And so it's a fear of yours, an old part of you. When we're surrounded by people creating little arguments, gossip, trying to test you, Aries, love, life, and work, okay? Let's test these boundaries of Aries, okay? Because they want you to back down. Sometimes, you're changing Aries means we're losing you, Aries, the old Aries. You would fight to be right. And now I think really, you're on the precipice of change. You're all about fairness. And there's still a little fear that, I might have to drop this argument because I don't want to waste my time with foolish people, okay? But it's a fear of yours. It's like an old behavior that you're kind of going, when they say 2 + 2 is 5, you go, no, it's not, it's 4. Let me show you. And you do a Google search. Not what you have to do for 2 + 2, right? It's very simple. But, just in general, you're not going to have to prove your point, or you're not going to want to prove your point. It is what it is. If you can't see that, Aries keeps walking. Unashamedly so. Unapologetically so. So unapologetically you're on the precipice of change, okay? Another card, dropping the ball on indecision. Okay. So this is like when we're holding things together, Aries, we've got loads of errands to run. You're going to start prioritizing, dropping the ball on certain things. You're realizing throughout December, what I've learned this year is, I'm not carrying everybody's burden. I'm working on me, and I want to mix with like-minded souls, people that are solution based. Does that make sense, Aries? Don't talk to me about who needs to be right here. It's not about that. Let's talk about solutions, you know? So let's clarify now and just have a look at this, okay? If it is about love, some of you are in two minds. You're a bit of you're a bit of a crossroads, all right, about a decision, about somebody maybe. It's a struggle for you to hold back, okay? Or somebody is holding back from you. And it might be a little bit of a manipulation going on there, where these kind of characters, for my females, there was books out there years ago, or maybe they still exist, I don't know, but all about pickup artistry, how to manipulate a woman. It's that kind of character where, what, I'm going to hold back from you and let you do all the work. Like setting the precedence, of this is how the relationship goes. Does that make sense? So some of you, someone's holding back as a bit of a game, okay? And you might be focused on an ending with the world there, but where there's an ending, there's always a brand new beginning. And someone, they're not apologetic, all right, for maybe how they've been treating you, all right, Aries. But you're just going to drop the ball on anything like that going into 2026, okay? So let's have a look. Why is the Two of Swords here? Center of your reading, okay? And remember, not quite sure where I'm going right now, a bit blindfolded to a direction. But instead of being anxious about it, hey, I'm just going to sit this through, and wait for some divine inspiration. And if I feel the passion, it creates momentum, and then I'll make my decisions. Does that make sense? So, Two of Swords in the upright, Page of Wands. Okay, so the Page of Wands talks about a brand new start. It's in its infancy, okay? Some of you, I'm just saying, you might have a child that's being a bit problematic, okay? Might not be treating you that fairly, Aries. And it's making you feel a little bit blocked when you just want to get on with, being a mother or a father. But yeah, the center of your reading is you're in two minds about whether you want to move forward with something. It might be a struggle to hold back from someone, or someone's holding back. It's a couple of stubbornness. Yeah. Okay. So now we're getting the picture. Some of you, it's a struggle to hold back and move on. Okay. From something. Purely because you're in two minds about, do I want this brand new start? Somebody might not be, that upfront. They might be a little bit manipulative. Couldn't get the words out there, Aries. Somebody might be a little bit manipulative. It's the reason why it's happening, okay, by the way, in this spread. And so then we got the Two of Swords, and this is like, it's a bit wishy-washy. This is, sorry, the Two of Pentacles. It can be a card of juggling, and juggling. It doesn't have to be juggling with you, with somebody else, but juggling you, fit you in when it feels good for them, Aries, these kind of things, just for a select few of you, all right? Not a personal reading. And it's just a bit wishy-washy. There's a lack of clarity there, okay? The Sun in reverse doesn't make you happy, You're straight shooters, Aries. Recent past, secrets came to light. Okay, you came out of confusion about wanting to revisit the past. A lot of you, it was like last orders at the bar, D-Day, hanging on to the past is not serving me here. And I'm getting very clear about that. 2026 is a brand new year, brand new Aries, and I'm all about endings and new beginnings. Where there's an up, there's a down, where there's a high, there's a low, a duality of life. And you accept that. And you're strategizing, okay? Some of you will be very much, getting strategies together, okay? 2026 is coming, getting Christmas out the way, where is my new beginning? What sits right with my life path and what I'm feeling, I know there's something coming. This is how you're going to feel. That, you know, that excited feeling that you get, Aries, but you don't know what it's all about. It's your intuition kicking in that there's change ahead. What you don't see coming towards you, Page of Cups in reverse. Okay, might be somebody, just for a select few, all right? Lack of apology about a secret. You might have found out secrets, Aries, and this person's unapologetic about it. There's no apology, okay? For a select few of you. Your energetic field is you will really stand up for fairness throughout December going into January, guys. And, you know, you will be quite passionate about it. So if anyone's coming your way, or even, you know, injustice towards others, you will kind of like bite their head off, and you might be supporting the underdog. Does that make sense? You know, when we're watching a film and we want the underdog to win, it's like you won't stand around and watch others being mistreated throughout December, because you know that you've been there yourself and you know how it feels, and you just say to yourself, hey, look, you know what? That is totally uncool what you're doing. And you will really speak up about it, okay? So don't do anything in front of Aries throughout December. Yeah, outside influences, we've got the Five of Swords in reverse, and then we've got the King of Cups in reverse. All right, just for some, you know, you might, if you're asking somebody to be accountable, okay, somebody might have water in their chart, I'm just saying. Some of you, a really select few of you, you might get really tired of somebody being very argumentative and a bit shitty when they've had a drink, and you might not stand for that, okay? Others of you, you know, we've got the Five of Swords in reverse. This is like coming out of conflict. And then we've got, you know, the King of Cups in reverse. This is like, you know, not even wanting to fight for something that might have been emotionally manipulative. Just letting go of it, you know? You know, in your fears, we've got the Five of Wands, okay, in reverse. You know, yeah, it's a fear of yours. I just watched this, Aries, okay? When, you know, I was saying, you know, you're solution-based people, you're fast thinkers, and you might get yourself into a bit of trouble by looking for solutions. People might see you as wanting to be right all the time. But as I say, Aries people, it's normally based on facts, you know? And it's a fear of yours that if you drop the solution-based thinking or solution-based conflicts, that you might feel burdened by it. Is that making sense? What I mean by that is, like, you might think it's hard to let it go, you know? Maybe an old part of you where you want to wake stupid people up and go, hey, look, you know, what you're doing is crazy. This does not make sense, you know? I see what you're doing over here with the Magician in reverse here. Doesn't make me happy, you know, and it's an insult to my intelligence. And the old me would want to fight my corner and, you know, set boundaries. Now I don't think you're about that, Aries. I think you just see the writing on the wall with certain situations in your life throughout December going into, you know, 2026, where you're going, do you know what? Yeah, it might burden me. You know, the old me would want to stick up and show people what's true based on facts with, you know, data sheets of, you know, look, here's, you know, the paper trail and all this kind of thing. You might feel burdened just by dropping it, but there's a sense of freedom in that, right? Outcome. Yeah, look, you are dropping the ball, okay, on internal conflicts, Aries. You're dropping the ball on conflicts of interest, okay? We've got kind of like a lot of swords in this reading. Okay, not too many cups. So the swords, you know, for me in tarot, it's all about the mind. It's about logic. It's very, sits in line with Aries, you know, that intellect. You know, we have intelligence, which is intrinsic, and then we have intellect, which is polishing the mind. You know, Aryan people, they are very much a great mix of both intrinsic intelligence and polished intellect. You know, you're very smart people. And sometimes you can actually insult your own intelligence, hear me out on this one, by entering into arguments with dumb people. Does that make sense? Because you want to wake them up and shake them and go, hey, look, this is crazy. But you're not about that in December, okay? In love, life, and work, 2 plus 2 is 5. Yeah, off you go. I know it's not, but I'm not arguing with you. What's that saying? Never argue with a pig. You will get dirty. And besides, the pig loves it. That's you in December, Aries. So, yeah. Let's have a look, which will really piss people off, actually, because they're used to you going there, arguing, you know. I don't think you were ever arguing the need to be right, Aries, which most arguments are, by the way, with humans. It's the need to be right. It's not often solution-based, but the new Aries now is solution-based, and it's going to piss people off, because you're not willing to fight about something is concretely true. Does that make sense? Based on facts and data, wherever you are in the world. Let's have a look. If it is about love, okay, throughout the month of December, going into January, if it's about love, let's have some messages around that. But I think, it keeps coming to me. It is what it is. This is your kind of like little mantra. Is what it is. And remaining kind of almost unaffected by it, by the stupidity of other people, not letting it get you down, So don't be surprised if people go, hey, you're changing. You've changed. It means they're losing you. They're losing the old dynamic. You know what I mean? Aries. Let's have a look. Pay attention to the red flags in reverse, okay? I think you are no longer hyper-vigilant, Aries. Hear me out now. You're no longer hyper-vigilant. When we've come out of shitty situations, we're looking for these red flags. Because you've done so much healing and you have a greater sense of self-worth now, you feel it energetically as opposed to searching it out or really looking for it. So let's say we see an amazing brick wall. Instead of focusing on just those 2 little bricks, which are lopsided, and we go, wow, that's imperfect, but we're looking for the imperfections. We're now looking at it globally. The wall is beautiful, and those 2 little bricks, if we stumble across them, they're a feature, okay? It's man-made, isn't it? Someone has laid those bricks. So you're not about being hyper vigilant. You just trust yourself now, no longer confused. When we see characters like this coming our way, we feel them now energetically coming our way. We listen to the body's warning signs. Something's off. Don't need to argue about it. This just isn't right. Does that make sense? And then we've got unrequited love. There's not enough attraction or chemistry to keep this relationship going. And I don't think that's about, the aesthetics of relationships, Aries. Attraction comes in many forms. You are attracted, the Aries that I know, they're very attracted to people that can articulate, that can speak their mind, that can cut to the chase. You get these people that ramble on and go all around the houses, wishy-washy, only to arrive at one sentence out of half an hour speaking to them. Well, why didn't you say that in the first place? Does that make sense? So it's kind of like you're losing attraction for certain characters that maybe you once found yourself attracted to, all right? And then engagement, your love life is ascending to a higher level of commitment in reverse, okay? Just for a select few, okay? Some of you might have ignored red flags. Secrets came to light. Just recently, you might have thought, that's an interesting card. That popped out. Okay, so I'm going to give you that in a second. But I think it really was, some of you might have been dealing with someone there, and what you saw is not what you had. They were a bit of a magician in reverse. And it's kind of like, I've ignored the red flags in this situation for far too long. I'm strategizing how to end this or to have new beginnings elsewhere. I don't need an apology, for bad treatment. I'm very clear about it now. I can give myself my own closure. I accept the apology I may never receive is a great way to give ourselves closure. Now we're not waiting around playing Whitney Houston and all this kind of thing, right? I will always love you. It really is about, hey, just didn't work out, is what it is. On to the next, bring on the new. Just for a select few of you, okay? But you are going to stick up for justice, and whoever tries to bait you, Aries, for a select few, hoover you up and all these kind of things, you will bite their heads off, okay? But not in a way to resolve the issue, because you realize I can't resolve issues with magicians in reverse. It will just be rinse, repeat, recycle with you. But I'm going to tell you exactly how I feel, and that's it. Block, block, block. For some of you, a select few, all right? It's not a personal reading. Remember, guys, many scenarios on this table. But look, this is a global message for Aries, okay? We're coming to an end of a year, into 2026. Clearly decide what you want so that it comes to you now, Aries. And I think that's what you're doing. Allowing things to end, bring on the new, and I'm strategizing. All right, so it's great. I think I think you might be leaving a lot of stuff in the rear view mirror, Aries. In love, life, and work. In your social circles, in workplace scenarios, and these kind of things. You might find it a little bit burdensome to, give up the fight, the need to be right. But I don't think you were ever about that. You're coming with facts. And magicians in reverse, I might add, they don't like facts and figures. They will try to, throw you into cognitive dissonance, throwing you into self-doubt, which is their go-to, their MO, because now if you're confused, Two of Swords energy, all right? This is manipulation 101, right? So what they would do is they would confuse you by gaslighting you and all these kind of things. And when they feel that you're totally in cognitive dissonance, right, that's when they know that they can really manipulate you, because you're so lost from the truth and the facts and the figures, because you haven't kept notes. You've relied that the other person is honest and upfront, right? And so with these kind of people, always keep notes in a workplace, Hey, Aries, I gave you that report to write up last Friday. And you're thinking, no, you gave me that Tuesday this week. It's only been 3 days. It's Friday. Do you know what I mean? Whereas my partner, she's amazing at note taking. Not in our relationship, but just in her work. She's very busy with her work and what she does. And she deals with a lot of these kind of characters. And she is the queen of taking notes. On her phone, she puts in keywords so she can search in conversations very quickly. And these kind of characters don't know what to do with her, because they cannot gaslight her. And she is the queen. But I learned a lot from her by doing that myself. So take notes, Aries. In the workplace, it's all very well you being intelligent and basing it on facts. You're right. But with these kind of characters, just back it up with, the written form. Show them, hey, no, you gave that to me 3 days ago. Here's our conversation, and show it to them. They will not like it. They'll try again and push your boundaries, but that's when you keep coming. Hey, no, you gave me that on Wednesday, or you said 3 p.m. Here's the exact message. And then they know they can't fuck with you, all right? So just a heads up on that one. Note taking, show it to them. Facts, figures, Aries. Love, life, and work, okay? Let's have a look. What's going to be key for you, okay, in your healing, in moving forward, getting ready for 2026, Aries? What's going to be key for you, right? And, it's about clearly deciding what you want now, what you won't accept, okay? Needs versus wants. Yeah, I want a handsome, pretty stranger, but I need someone that is intelligent. I need someone that is emotionally intelligent, surely. I need maybe somebody that's on time, somebody that's got their shit together, somebody that can go there with me and have debates, not arguments, where they want me to back down and throw me into cognitive dissonance. You're not about that, Aries, right? Look at this. Look, I can't make this up, can I? Communication, throat chakra. Okay, color blue is going to be very significant, all right, throughout December. Self-expression, exchange, sharing, connection. Okay, that's going to be key for you throughout December. Emotions, feelings, expression, moods, and balance. Okay, and this is like, very often when we're thinking to ourselves, the words come out unfiltered and they could be out of context. What's going to happen with you, Aries? You are, if I look at this, this is your emotional communication. We have 72 human emotions in the English language. In Russian language, God knows how many there are, but in certain languages, there's many more. But there's only two feelings, right? Good or bad, but 72 human emotions. And so a lot of you, you're going to find that your emotional vocabulary is going to be much better. So instead of saying, hey, look, I'm really angry, it really is more a case of, hey, I feel totally disrespected when you turn up late constantly. I've addressed it before. Hey, I feel abandoned. I feel rejected. I feel loved. The emotional vocabulary for you, okay, is key. Okay. And faith, back to this, Aries, very soon. Clearly decide what it is you're looking for so it comes to you right now, and have faith that what you are seeking is seeking you, and turn away anything less than, Aries, because supply is cut off when we stay in shitty situations too long. All of that supply is now cut off because Aries is otherwise occupied. So as soon as you see something that's off, this is not what I'm looking for. You might be handsome, you might be pretty, but I'm not feeling this. I don't feel appreciated. I don't feel we're a great match, intellectually, or intelligence is off, especially emotional intelligence. Keep it moving, turn it down. Okay, that was great. I like these aspects. Bring me this. So when we keep saying no, this is when the universe, God, however you frame your belief system, can send you more of what you want. It's like shopping. It's like shopping, isn't it? Going for a test drive. No, that's not what I want. Love that. Love that. Can you send me this? And have faith that it's going to arrive. Manifestation, right? And let it go. You're not waiting around for it. You know it's coming because you've got faith, not hope. Money, Aries, finances, power, generosity, and abundance might be quite key throughout December going into 2026. Some of you might be, looking at different ways to invest and, how you manage your money. Or some of you, money might be a focus, throughout December. If you're a song, Aries, all right, lyrics might mean something. This is a long reading. I always give you long ones, don't I? If you're a song, what would it be? The lyrics might mean something. Band, there might be some subliminal message within the lyrics. Give it one listen. If it's not your genre, just dump it, guys, as always. Shiver and Shake by Ryan Adams. Okay, this is a song, pretty much a pretty desperate song. It's all about breadcrumbing, I think he's singing about, there's one line in that song and it's like, I used to wait like a dog at the door. You used to bring me scraps, you don't bring them anymore, or something along those lines. And I really believe, Aries, this is all about you not wanting, or not settling for breadcrumbing and wishy-washy tippy-toe Timmies. If it's about love for my female viewers, it really is about, I see the writing on the wall, I'm keeping it moving. It's hard for me to hold back because I love to fight for love and solution-based thinking, but I can't do that with douchebags. So one of these, positive message, always close out my readings, even my personal readings, I always close them out with these, but positive message for you. Keep it in your back pocket. It's a mantra to call upon, Aries, just to boost your morale. One of these, I need a new one of these decks. It's really falling to pieces. Aries, message for you. Enjoy the process, Aries. Remember, the start of the reading was all about just surrendering is what it is. The duality of life. I accept it. Is what it is. Enjoy the process, Aries. It's time to stop and enjoy the present. And that was, at the very start of this reading was coming out of anxiety, forward thinking, It's time to stop and enjoy the present. Your future is being taken care of by the universe, and have unwavering faith that it's got your back, Aries. So turn down shit and take on the good. Okay? Get that shopping list in action. Clearly decide what you're looking for so it comes to you now. Aries, I hope you enjoyed that. My name is Drew. This is Modern Tarot. If you like the content, please like, share, or subscribe. It means I can continue to do this for free for you. If you're on a personal reading, you can reach out on moderntarot.net directly, or browse the YouTube Modern Tarot store. And I do my best to give you some clarity on your specific personal situations. In the meantime, Aries, have an amazing December. I'll probably see you mid-month with some interesting series and mid-month readings anyway. But for those of you that won't check me out mid-month, have a very Merry Christmas and an amazing New Year. Speak to you soon, Aries. Bye.